in my little Minecraft world, Daddy World as I call it. And I'm going to show you what I've been up to. So when I first started playing in Minecraft, I got the bug for building sort of large structures, and I've actually lost some of the structures I started doing. I'm not sure how to find them, but I wanted to show you what I've been doing recently. So I wanted to find out how big a pyramid could be in Minecraft, considering that there's a 256 block height in Minecraft. You know, that's as high as you can go. So you can't build any higher than that. So here's this tower here. This does all extend up to max build height. So I haven't done much with this in terms of, this is just a placeholder tower. I've done a little design with it, but there's nothing going on that's particularly clever. It's just max build height tower, and then at this height here we have this sort of impossible bridge, and let's follow that. So my internet connection is never that great in terms of, I don't know whether it's my internet or how fast Minecraft is on the PS4 or whatever, but you know, I don't get to seem to have a very good you know, the screen, the stuff in the distance there will render in. It's sometimes a little bit notchy, not too fast. So here we are coming up against my pyramid under construction. Now the idea with this was to build the largest possible pyramid that you could top out on one block at the top. So I I actually had a failed attempt at this. I've been built. This is about the I think about the fifth or sixth pyramid that I've built on Minecraft, and as you can see, it's pretty big. We'll dive into it in a second, but as under construction, obviously there's a huge amount of work to do on it still. If we fly up to the top here, so I did a little bit of experimenting up here with a redstone repeater flasher, but one of the things that happens with these things I've noticed is that sometimes over time they stop working. So this one needs rebuilding and then setting off again. There's something going on with it. So these orangey blocks here we should be flashing. But anyway, this is the very top, and when I first built the pyramid, it with, you know, if you imagine these blocks just going up and up and up, so we are at max build height here with this there, with these, and then obviously trying to, and it snows here, so I built this pyramid in Blackstone, but obviously it snows here a lot, so we actually get this kind of black and white effect, which is actually not, I quite like it. Anyway, so let's whiz back down to the causeway, and again, this is all sort of covered in snow. Whoops, I just destroyed a bit of it there, but and then we enter the pyramid at this level. One of the things that's quite challenging with especially with Blackstone, I found is just the amount of light necessary. Once you start enclosing the pyramid in, once you start really building those walls and those layers and getting those in there, the amount of ambient light even during the day is nothing, very minimal, and you have to illuminate. And I've been using sea lanterns, which are my sort of favourite way of illuminating. But as you can see, we have a sort of I've begun construction of sort of various floors, and there's nothing mechanical going on here yet. There's a few things that I've got planned. I want to build an elevator into this. The problem is that I'm not that experienced with the sort of functional. I'm going to build a few drop panel doors and some stuff with some sticky pistons and things like that. But that's not my that's not an area where I've got much experience, so I have to kind of look at those up. And the other problem that I have is that this is already under such massive scale that if you wanted to build build your first elevator, let's say, and you wanted to go from down there to up here, that's a pretty big construction. This is a long way down. So as you can see, we've got this sort of lattice design. There's always some thought to it. It's not random. But it's obviously built around the central. This is the original central tower that I built to establish max build height and the center of the pyramid. So this is all. This was like the first thing that I built, and everything else has been formed around it. Now, so from this level we can go up, and there's this. Again, with the lattice work, I use a bit of red there. We can go up further into the roof of the pyramid. Again, I haven't done much with this floor. It's just really just laid out with some wood, mostly polished. What is it? Quartz. Some white concrete there. Lots of ambient lighting just to kind of keep it, so you can see. And then we go up from here. Again, I'm not sure at the moment how much of this to fill in eventually. So this we have another floor here, some water, some reflecting pools here. And this is a sort of experiment stairwell here that I tried. And again, just ambient lighting, all smooth quartz. So if we follow the stairwell up, we should get to the top chamber, which is the simplest kind of just a bed chamber really. Here we are. So we had a few bookshelves, a few things in here. Although in creative mode you don't really need any of this stuff. But so there's a little bed, some bookshelves, a lectern, etc. I'm getting a little bit of snow in here. It looks like. That's through the top because I've opened it up there to be able to get out. So here we are back at the very top. This is my upper room, and if we come out of here again and scroll down, we got what have we got? Yeah, so here's our little reflecting pool, and then that has a little drop down water flow into this pool here on this level. And then coming down again, this is our entry level or upper entry, and then if we go down here, this is our lower mid-level, and we're still, as you can see, I've built the pyramid just over the natural topography of the land. So we've got trees, and we've even got a village, really nothing's happened over it. I've done a little bit of work here and there, but it's a massive project. I don't really know what I'm going to do here. I think I'll just leave this village. It's not abandoned or anything. There are people here. So we have a little illumination here which will lead us. We're out because I noticed that where I'd built the pyramid, I'd cut this one guy off here, look. So I thought, oh, it's a bit mean to kind of block him up. So yeah, I don't even know whether he's in there. I have seen him once or twice. So, you know, the idea is that he can get in here if he wants to and hook up with his other pals in his village. And yeah, as you can see, the lighting is, you know, it's very important. I'm going to actually, I'm going to just turn it to day. So that we got more of an idea of where we are. So as you can see, there's vast sort of parts of the pyramid still under construction. I kind of try and do some of the block work most times that I'm on. It is very tedious. Oh, you can see up there. This is an abandoned construction of mine. This was an idea I was originally going to build a. This is really big as well. This is actually almost at max build height. This thing. I was originally going to try and build like a Star Destroyer or something, and I started building it and just thought, you know what, I don't have a plan for it. I'm just kind of doing it, and so I ended up not really adding anything in terms of 3 dimensions, and just trying to sort of plan out the basic shape and work my way along, and obviously keeping it at the time symmetrical. It actually isn't symmetrical now, as I've added, I've straightened out one of the edges at the front. But again, it's just one of these massive constructions that, you know, you have to go so high. In fact, I don't think you can even get it all on screen from above. But it's just very typical of what I tend to do in Minecraft. You know, obviously I have my world on peaceful, creative. You know, there you can see the pyramids just coming in, hoving into render view there. I mean, it's pretty cool. Now, the thing with this is that immediately before building this one, so yeah, that's kind of abandoned that, by the way. As you can see, I started straightening out the arrow point there, but it's, you know, it's so big, and I was like, oh, I can't be bothered. So immediately before starting the work on this pyramid, I was building an even bigger one, and it's not around here though. I couldn't actually locate it for you right now, but I started building an even bigger one, which I started literally from the ground rather than from the top. So I just thought, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to make a big pyramid, and what's a nice round number? 500. Okay, so I did 500 blocks on a side, and just started from the ground up. And I you know, obviously it takes a long time. 500 blocks one way, 500 blocks that way, then this way, then this way, and of course at ground level you're dealing with all sorts of obstacles as well. Obviously little islands and some of it was over water, some of it was, you know, over land, and so you'd have to kind of, you know, build around it, smash through, and so I started building this thing, and I got up to it was starting to get pretty big, and it suddenly occurred to me that I had no idea if I could top this pyramid out, you know, that pyramid out, and so I started building these sort of buttresses like this has got here. So literally I thought, okay, well, let's see, you know, I could do the maths and work it out, but I thought, well, why don't I build these things like this? So I just, you know, do these little 4 square chunks, creating the corners, and I just went up and up and up and up, and I went up to max build height on that other pyramid, the 500, the side pyramid, and then did it on the other side as well. and it became apparent very quickly that this pyramid was not going to top out as a pyramid, because you'd reach 256 max build height, and that's that. So it actually ended up being a sort of, it would max out at about here, and so I ended up leveling it out and starting to build the roof there, and on that one I ended up putting an inverse pyramid on the inside, but it was so gigantic. I mean, this one, I think, I mean, it's pretty big, but it's not 500 a side though. It's nowhere near that. It's uh, and then the next biggest one that I did before the 500 a side was 150 a side, which is small, obviously a lot smaller than this. So this is somewhere in between 150 and 500, but more. It's up more past the sort of. It's got to be 200-300, I'm sure. The other thing that I kind of like to do, which is a bit silly, I guess, but I quite like to do, is rather than just destroy the existing topography, I quite like, as you can see here, to try and build the construction around it as much as possible, leave as much as possible intact, so that it kind of gives the impression that the structure was there before the nature was there, that the nature has encroached on the structure because the structure's old. I mean, that's a silly thing to think about in Minecraft, but so the idea of just building it with this stuff that was already here. Now, as you can see, there's some gaps here and there. It's not fully sort of sealed, but that doesn't matter either, really. Also, I was interested in going under the waterline and continuing the block work, again, just with a view to how the natural environment and lay of the land actually is. So in terms of these levels here of the pyramid, they don't extend past where you can see them. I haven't built it and then put all this earth and sand and stuff on top of it. So it's an illusion, really. I mean, I can show you that here if I take some stuff away. Look, so you can see that there should be, if this was built, there should be a black stone block there, like that. Anyway, so I kind of like doing that, and I've tried to do that sort of all the way around in various places where it dips below the landline. And it's it's quite a construction. It's taken a long time. This is another little minor entranceway just in. What have we got down here? There's a couple of little things. Hector, when I was first constructing the basics, my son Hector wanted to make some sheep. So I can't remember which corner they're in. They're in a little corner somewhere. There's a pen of rainbow sheep, he called them, because he'd just worked out this command prompt that would change the color of your sheep. Oh, here they are. Yes, so we've got these little guys down here. I'm sorry it's so dark, fellas. I need to maybe sort that out. Let's get you some light in here. Yeah, so he I've lost my cursor for some reason, but that's alright. Let's just get a little bit more light in there. There you go, that's a bit better. Not much. Some. Yeah, as you can see, this is a big problem with this construction. Is it's daytime right now, but in these little corners, when you start getting the overhang of the block work, it just completely, obliterates the light. So as you can see in some of the higher up levels, we've done these, fully encompassing, enclosing lines of sea lanterns, which seem to be the brightest way to go about things. I'm not a big fan of like torches and fires and things that produce smoke and stuff like that. I'd rather have you know these sea lanterns which are sort of totally enclosed. But you can see it's such a big construction. There's such a lot to it. It has taken a while to get this far, and I would like to finish the thing this century. But I keep getting distracted as well. I mean, like, you know, this causeway coming out here and heading back out to the tower. I only built the tower as a sort of placeholder because I needed, you know, somewhere for this causeway to go. I didn't want it just hanging out of the pyramid for no reason. But obviously, once you get to the, I guess I'm kind of world building in a very small way. I like things to sort of make some sense of purpose. You know, even if it's just, you know, that sort of enigmatic purpose that pyramids and things like that tend to have. I kind of moved on to pyramids from doing. I was for a while I was quite obsessed with doing lots of sort of monoliths. You know, 2001 Arthur C. Clarke style monoliths. So I would do those in absolutely gigantic versions of those. I did quite a few of them. Now they are not in the close vicinity. In fact, one of the things that has characterized my sort of interaction with the Minecraft world in this, particularly in this world, is I've often got lost and not made a note of where I am, and you know, at one point I obviously didn't know how to reset that in terms of ooh, it's hard without the cursor, crikey. Yeah, so I'm kind of I have several areas that are that have massive constructions that I've now sort of lost. You know, I don't know how to get to them. See, from this point, actually, let's just make it day again because it is better to be able to see things. So here we have this sort of little glass causeway, and this leads to. This is just a bed. This is just a glorified bed, where this is my respawn point at the moment because I have used that one. So that's all it is. It's a bed, and we're sort of directly underneath that giant thing that I abandoned. And if we head sort of this way, actually more this way, we will happen upon. Oh, there we are. See, now I've built a bunch of markers. So they're basically just a max height tower, which allows me to, you know, they will hove into view without traveling too far from where you currently are, and it allows you to not get too lost. But this one, as you can see, is actually starts then a horizontal journey, and this will lead me to a construction that I did a while ago. As you can see, there it is. It's a monolith. Obviously a big fan of Arthur C. Clarke, the Sentinel and 2001. So there's a max height monolith. It's pretty big. It's not the biggest one I've built. I think the biggest one I ever built was it wasn't landlocked. It was horizontal, it floating in the air. So it was gigantic. It took a long time to build. I don't actually know how to get to that from here. So this one's very small. It's only a couple of blocks thick, but it is max build height, so it's quite big, but it's not. Yeah, it isn't a hugely impressive one. compared to some of the others that I built. This one also, this area also has a little temple that I put on the side here, which I spent some time on. I'm not that into this kind of thing really though, but so I just came in here and there's another monolith there floating. I have this sort of glass floor with this sort of infinite stuff going on there. That's just a optical illusion. The black down there is black concrete, so it's not infinitely deep. Although I could have done that. We did a thing out here. So this little well here, this is as infinite as Minecraft goes in terms of it goes all the way down to bedrock and then out the bottom. So this is the bottom of the world, so to speak. There's nowhere to go from there. You're just floating in nothingness. You can't go any further down, and all you can do is go back up. You little... I haven't lined any of this or done anything clever with it. So here's our little temple again. So we go in here, we've got a hanging monolith, we've got another little bit of sort of slightly optical illusion-y stuff going on there, at the bottom. A little lounge area here, and a tunnel here. Again, this is sort of a little bit half-baked in that it's not really, it's just stuff that I've sort of built for the for the sake of it. Not really spent too much time on the little causeway here, and I think this is the sort of extent of it. Just coming back here, I haven't really done anything in here yet, and I'm not likely to be honest. It's so where we are right now, as you can see, there are these max height markers here. That one over there you can see in the distance. Now, and there, if we come over to these ones here, I think once we get there we should be able to see the next one, if I remember correctly. So there it is over there. So you could what I could do, if I wanted to try and find my way back to some of the other areas where I've built huge constructions, I could follow these markers. Now I'm sure anyone listening to me talk about doing this stuff are probably yelling and saying, why don't you do this, that or the other? Sure, let me know if there are easier ways of keeping yourself orientated. I find I just don't mark down latitudes and longitude numbers. I just don't do that. I should do that, but I haven't, and so I know that I can. But I do know that I can follow my markers here. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to. I don't want to stray away from my my pyramid. But I know also that this one of these directions will eventually, and I'm talking there's maybe a couple of dozen or more of those markers. It would take some time, even at top speed, to fly through them. There's one there, you can go that way as well, and that will lead you to a different set of constructions that I was doing, and they're mostly monolithic stuff. I did a little the big floating huge monolith that I actually did a little block version of the Discovery spaceship, which is not very good, but it is recognizable. You can tell what it is, what it's supposed to be. But yeah, so there's my pyramid. See, what I was talking about with the taking some time to render in. That's kind of a drag. it's been like that ever since the update. Ever since the update from the old Minecraft to the newer one. Um, Now this world was actually ported from that old Minecraft to this one. So when I first had this world and was starting to build stuff in it, it wasn't infinite. It had edges. And I actually built things at either edge of the world, and there's a continuous causeway I think I used the sea lanterns, these, and I built this continuous causeway literally that spanned from Land's End to John O'Groats, so to speak. And but then the new version of the game happened, and and when I next went to open this world, it was now had to be sort of ported over, and it was now infinite. And so those world edges that I'd built were no longer the ends of the of the world. They were just sort of random. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I think there's still quite a lot of work, obviously block work to do. It doesn't take that long, but it is tedious, and I don't have a way of doing it quickly. Again, I know there are ways of filling in areas if you have coordinates. I know you can do that on the PC. I'm not sure whether you can do it using this stuff on here. You probably can, and I should look into it, because at the moment I've for up until now I've built every single line of these just by doing that. So I've kind of set off, and I'm heading backwards, and head to the other side and then start again. This is the sort of max build speed that I can do in the sort of traditional way. And then finish it off. Oh, because I haven't got my cursor, I don't know where I'm going. There we are. And rinse and repeat. I mean, there's a ton of it to do, and then obviously all the interior stuff. And there's so much real estate in here to do stuff with. I haven't even begun to really take advantage of it. And as you get lower down the pyramid, obviously you get more and more space. And I've kind of just wanted to sort of figure out whether I want to keep it quite open and skeletal like this, or whether I want to block it out with chambers and walls that are more solid. I feel like I may build some chambers that are more sort of traditional, more like a real pyramid. Stuff that, because obviously this is so fantastical in terms of its, it's not in any way reflective of how a real pyramid would be, because obviously it's just single skin. Although one of the things that I have thought about doing, especially because of the dark, because the other pyramids that I built them with the I used the polished quartz, which is my favorite material. And this one, because Blackstone had just sort of, I'd never seen Blackstone before. I think it was, I'm not sure, I'll ask Hector, but I think it was a fairly new thing, recent update. Anyway, I decided to build it out Blackstone, and it was, and it's okay actually for the outside, because as I said, because it's a snowy area, winter biome or whatever. You're going to get it covered in snow, and so it won't be so oppressively black. But on the inside it will be, and so I think what I might end up doing, if I've got the strength of will to actually do it, is to line it with the polished quartz, which is I've sort of started doing on this level here. As you can see, you can kind of see how that would look. It's nice, it's a nice finish. And it would, I think, reflect the light better, and not be quite so oppressive. Otherwise I'm just going to have to stick, you know, so many runs of sea lanterns all the way through it, and it would look. I think it would start to look a bit weird. So here it is. So that's what we're doing. This is what I do when I'm kind of late at night and feel motivated to get in here and do some work on it. I do really enjoy these sort of vast mega constructions. I don't know why, it's just something that I quite enjoy. I've started getting into. We have a little world that I've built, another little world which is just for sort of teaching, learning stuff, lessons, you know. And so we kind of try different things in. So this is where I learned to build these redstone repeaters, these flashing things. Now, because this keeps, I hate the fact that it's not symmetrical. I'll probably dismantle this and put a more traditional top out on the pyramid. I did think about possibly doing a sort of casing stone layer in the quartz, which I might still do. I might still do that, but there we are. This is my pyramid. It is the largest possible, I believe, pyramid that you can top out. And I haven't done the maths on what the actual block length is at ground level, but it's pretty big. Now, obviously, if you're in a biome that has a lower ground level, then theoretically you can build a bigger pyramid. But now let me just where is it? No. Where is the? I don't know. Show coordinates. Yep. Oh, hello. That just threw me. Bunk. There we are. Oh, there's my coordinates. Yeah. So, at the bottom here, let's have a look what height we are actually at that sort of bottom level. Right, so we're at 64 here. So theoretically, if you had a lower ground level somewhere, you could build a bigger pyramid, but this is as big as it gets at this sort of level, which I think is it's a fairly typical level for Minecraft ground level. I don't really know whether it varies much throughout the biomes, you know. But obviously, like, you got these corners here, you know, where I've built it down a little bit, and you know, but this is not. But again, it's just an illusion. It doesn't really. The full pyramid is not down here. You know, the real pyramid sort of starts, you know, at ground level, sort of here. You know, at some point, I would like to go back to the to that mistake of a 500 by 500 block construction, because I did a lot of work on that before I realized that it wasn't going to top out as a pyramid, and so I was really disappointed, and I could have kicked myself really. In fact, it was my wife, it was Jo, who said, why didn't you start at the top? So I was like, yeah, that would have been really sensible to do that, which is exactly what I did with this one, in terms of I picked a random location, i.e. here, right there, and started building this block, and yeah, and that became the center point for the whole bloomin' thing. And it was so sensible a thing that she said. I don't know why I didn't do it on the other one. And there we are, right to the top. So there we are. That's where we're going. This is what we do. I'm going to get rid of this stuff. I think I'm going to refashion this entire top because I was enjoying kidding around with the redstone stuff, but again, I think because of the way you have to build these things, sometimes it's quite hard to disguise the workings. Yeah, that's why I had that kind of stuff all kind of built over it so that it was, you know, a little bit hidden. So I might refashion this in a simpler look. Get rid of that snow. And yeah, again, I didn't really think about the snow aspect being a problem. And it's not really a problem. It is what it is. But yeah, I can get rid of all this whatever this stuff's called, I can't remember. Yeah, so as you can see here, this height here is 252. So if we were to fill all this in, this is how I had it when I first built it. I think just a basic top out. Get rid of that snow. We can top the pyramid out. Obviously we can't get into it once we do that, but just as a demonstration, here we are. This should be at 255. So at this point I realize that I've done it wrong. Now you could, there you go, so this is, yeah, we're at 256, so that's the highest point you can go. I don't want it with a little, it looks like a cherry bakewell. We're not going to have that. So I would probably put some of these prismarine things on it or something like that, just to get the, you know, the top out at max build height or something. Whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do on the top of here. It's going to snow, so obviously next time it snows it'll get a coverage like this, and that'll be that. But if I were to do some kind of case stone layer, you know, if I were to kind of enclose it, you know, in the spirit of the sort of original Giza pyramids, you know, having those casing stones that they would have had, and that only one of them has sort of a partial, you know, stones left on the outside. It's just the only problem that I have with this from a aesthetic point of view is that it because you can't do slanted pieces, you've got it's always blocks, you know. I've got no way of making a nice graduation, you know, other than to use the step, you know. So you could do it like that instead, which kind of takes it down to a different, to that it refines it by half, you know. But it's you know, ultimately I'd kind of rather have I'd rather have it smooth, slanted, you know, 45-degree angle type stuff. I'm not sure of the aesthetic of that for my liking. It just doesn't really float my boat. So for the Moam, and of course the other thing with doing it is, you know, could be a lot of work once you start getting down a few levels. Although it wouldn't be that much work, not compared to some of the other stuff that I've done, but the other issue is that because it is a snow biome, it'll just get snowed on, and then you might not even really see the benefit of having done it in the first place, because it'll just look vaguely like this, just without the black here. It wouldn't look significantly different, I don't think, to warrant. I mean, what I could do here is continue this line, this aesthetic line here on either side, something like that. But who knows? I don't know. It's all stuff to think about and play around with. With so much basic engineering stuff to do, block work, and then basic, illumination. So it looks like a birthday present or a cake or something. It's not. That doesn't do it for me at all. So no, I'm not going to have it like that. But with so much to do, once the block work's finished, there'll be so much to do from a illumination point of view, because it'll be so dingy in there. So it's really a massive amount of work before you even start thinking about anything clever from a technical point of view, anything mechanical, any redstone constructions or elevators and whatnot. I'm definitely sort of contemplating any and all things of that nature, but we will see. Alright, so there we are, big old pyramid, loads of work. There we are. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my inane drivel and enjoyed having a little peep into Ben's leisure time activities late at night. Yeah, this is a kind of weird. This was like a sort of. This was this yin yang kind of idea. This idea of kind of doing half this thing in the black stone and half of it in the quartz. But yeah, well, there you are. Let's go out of here. At some point I'd like to go back to the massive 500 by 500 pyramid and just finish it in some way, because it will be a vast construction, bigger than this, even though this will this is the like I said, this is the biggest top outable pyramid, assuming a single step down. I mean, there are some assumptions, I mean, it's the biggest when you only, you're talking about going one block out each time, if you were going to do a much shallower pyramid and go 2 blocks out each layer, for example, then obviously the floor plan would be different, much bigger, for the same 256 height. But in my own special way, this is the biggest you can do. So I hope you enjoyed this little trip, and like and comment. You do all the usual things. Subscribe if you wanted to subscribe. I know it's not really what I usually do on this channel, but I thought, why not? Everyone's out, so there we are. So enjoy, have a lovely day everyone, and I will catch you next time. Alright.